Hi everybody, this is Jamie from the Unlikely Homeschool. A few weeks ago I ordered myself my 2017-2018 homeschool planner for the upcoming school year. Now for the past 5 or 6 years I've used the same planner, and I was intrigued by a new planner on the market because I heard that it was customizable, and that really sounded interesting. So I wanted to try that out. Again, there's nothing wrong, or I don't dislike the planner that I have been using for years and years. It was a great planner, still is a great planner. I just wanted to try something different. So I ordered this one from aplanandplace.net, and if you go to their website, they have a couple of different options for creating a planner uniquely designed for your homeschool. You can order for $19.99 just their basic bare bones planner, and you're given the option to choose a couple of different stock images for the cover, and you would just get the bare basic bones planner for that price. Or you could decide to add a couple of different customizable features to make it more your own, and every single thing that you add or change about the planner is going to cost you a small fee, anywhere from like 99 cents to a couple of dollars. So the very first option that you're given is to have a customizable cover, and I chose that option, so I was able to put our homeschool name and a photo of my family in the image where the stock photo or the stock image normally would be. The cover is laminated, so it's really sturdy, and it is a spiral binding, which I like because then I can flip the pages back to save space. As you turn the page, then they've just given you the option to have a quick little doodle page if you have a dry erase marker. It would be kind of fun to hand this to my kindergartner to let him doodle during the day. I just wanted to show you the inside of my planner. Again, I chose a lot of the customizable options. So these are going to be things that I chose specifically with my homeschool in mind. This isn't the right way to design a planner. It's just how I kind of think and operate in my day. So it's going to, I hope, really help me be a little bit more efficient with my planning. So you can see that on the side they have little tabs. They've included little tabs that stick out for the different sections of the planner, and I really loved that because my last planner didn't have tabs that stood out. They kind of jutted into the planner, and it was at times hard to find the month that I was looking for if I was looking ahead to a different month. So the sections that I have are goals and planning, calendars, weekly schedules, and then record keeping and notes. And I'm not sure what other options, I don't really remember what other options you can add to that, if there are other options, but the tabs, I believe, are an additional price that you can add onto your calendar. So with my goals and planning, I didn't do any sort of customizing with these. I don't know that that's an option. I think you just pick that package and they put all the sheets that they have in there. So there is a My Mission Statement, and that's my first page to be able to write down the mission statement of my homeschool. I actually have a post about that on my blog about writing a mission statement for your home. I encourage you to check that out because that's been really helpful to our family over the years. And with that, the next page would just kind of extend that idea. Planning your mission planner board, some brainstorming. There's several brainstorming sheets for maybe brainstorming different curriculum items or brainstorming unit studies that you have in mind. Maybe you can brainstorm different projects that your kids will do for project-based learning if you do that. Next, in the order of pages, if I can turn them, there's a page for my goals. So you can set goals for your homeschool. You can even set personal goals if you choose to do that for your own maybe workout, exercise routine, or if you're planning a project. The next one would be My Responsibilities. This would be more for the kids, and you write down sort of what their weekly routine. There's a place for monthly goals and yearly goals or yearly responsibilities, and some space for daily thoughts. Or that could be for you. You could use that page for you. Here's a time blocking sheet for mapping out how you're going to use your time each and every day. There's an option 2 also. So maybe you have some thoughts for planning for the first semester, and then you'd like a different schedule for second semester. So there's 2 pages of that. There's a page for curriculum resources. Actually, there's a couple of pages. This one is for the first semester. So the books that you'll be using, where you're going to find them, the price, and then the child that will be using it or any notes you want to add. And there's a second semester page as well for that. The next section is family planning. For the current year, different things that you plan for this year, and different things that you plan long term, maybe in the next coming couple of years. Homeschool budget for this year includes savings, items that you want to sell, items that you still need or that you want, any conferences that you're going to be going to, any book sales that you know about. And there's also a page similar to that for next year. There's a page for field trip planning. And then a couple pages, just one, for field trip planning and goals. Talks about where you're going, how much it is per person, the time and length, a space to write down maybe the contact for who you need to meet once you get to the field trip. There's a couple of pages for long range goals for your homeschool, just some blank space to brainstorm that. And this page is for meal planning, to list out some of the meals that you make, some breakfast favorites, lunch favorites, so that you can have all of those at a glance when you're making your meal plans. You can just look at your list of meals that you make. I actually have done that for years and find it very helpful to have a list of the meals that you actually make, and you can just pick one from each category for each day of the week. Then there's a page for good books to read, maybe as you're planning upcoming reads for your homeschool. And then you get to the calendar section. Now, this calendar section in my previous planner, they had a month at a glance calendar pages intermingled throughout the calendar. So you'd have maybe March, a 2-page spread for March, and then behind that 2-page spread for March are all your weekly plans for March. In this particular calendar, they lump all the month at a glance pages together. I kind of like this better because I'm not the only one who uses my calendar. My husband uses it too, and I do a lot of long range planning, and I don't want to have to look through pages and pages and pages to find the next month at a glance page. It's not bad to do that, and it certainly worked to do that, but I'm looking forward to actually having them all together in one spot. So in this section, there's a year at a glance calendar, so you can just see the year at a glance. And then also, because it is a school calendar, they have the next year as well, because I'll be using this for 2017-2018 school year. And then starts the monthly calendars. Now, on the website, I had the option of picking what month I wanted my calendars to start with. And since my previous calendar that I'm still currently using, still working my way through, ends the last day of June, I wanted this calendar to start in July. So it's going to go from July to June. And I already have started writing some things down. So I'll show you a blank page of what it looks like. My September page is blank. So in September, it's just a 2-page monthly spread of the month, and the boxes are about 2 inches by maybe 2.5 inches, so you have plenty of room to write. There's not a whole lot of color in this planner except for the cover and the pockets. It's just black and white. And I won't show you all the 2-page spreads. They're pretty typical, just calendars that you would expect to find, but it goes all the way through to the very following year. And then the next section would be the weekly schedule section. And that's where you get into the nuts and bolts of planning your year. Now, on the website, some of the customizable sections, most of the customizable sections fall under this section of the planner. You can really mix and match and make this weekly schedule section quite unique to your homeschool. Let me first show you what I did And as I'm going through it, I'll tell you what some of the options were. So I chose, there were two different options. I could have I could have chosen a weekly schedule just on the left side of the page, and then the right side of the page would be for more personal planning. I believe that there was a section for a daily checklist. Maybe you have assigned your kids some chores each and every day and you want to just check those off and keep track of those. There were several boxes that you could include for different focus areas of your day. There was a section for meal planning. I chose not to have those in my calendar because I put those somewhere else. Either I use those digitally or I have them in a different spot, so I didn't want to muddle up my school planner with all of those. So I chose the second option, which was to take the weekly schedule and extend it over 2 pages. And so that's what I did. So within that page, I was then able to use their template and design the page the way I wanted it. The first suggestion, or the first thing that I could choose was how I wanted the days of the week to line up across the page. I could have chosen just the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I could have chosen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with the actual date, like July 1st. I actually wanted just blank spaces to be able to write in the date myself. All right, so then across the side, the vertical column of the planner grid, there is space to include all the subjects that you would normally do in your homeschool day. And I think if you have the customizable package, you can choose how many of these subjects you want to include. I think it has to start with 5, and I'm not sure how many you can add. I included 8 subjects, and I put them in the order that we actually do our homeschool day. I liked this option probably the best out of all of the different options of this planner because I could include only the subjects that we actually do as a homeschool. In my previous planner, the subjects were actually written out for me, and so there was a couple of different things that we didn't do in our homeschool day, and I'd have to actually hand scratch them out and write in what we did do, or just leave that whole grid space blank. And so I like to be able to include only the things that we do in our homeschool day. Unfortunately, I think that this particular planner has really small planning spaces, the actual squares or boxes that you can plan your day. And I think that's because if I were to have chosen fewer subjects to include, let's say I only included 5 subjects, the boxes would obviously be able to be bigger. So I'll be anxious to see how well I can write out a day's worth of lessons when the boxes are this small. Then with the planner, I was given the option to include a couple of additional boxes on the very bottom of my planning page. I think you can include up to 3 boxes and label them however you want. There's one option for adding a daily checklist box to the bottom here, and that would look like a chore chart. So you would write down your child's chores and check them off throughout the week. I chose not to have that. And I actually opted for 2 boxes. I labeled the first one spelling words because the particular grammar program that we use, my children come upon spelling words each week, and I want to keep track of those and have them all in one spot. So that'll give me a box for that. And then the second box was I just wanted to be blank. So I just labeled it notes so that I could write whatever I wanted or happened to need for that week. Then at the very bottom, you have the option to add a special memory verse that is unique to your homeschool or that has value to your home, or maybe a quote. I chose to include Proverbs 2:6, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding," because that happens to be our homeschool verse for the upcoming school year. So again, I chose to have the 2-page scheduling sheet spreads, but you could choose to do 1 page on the left of scheduling and planning, and the right-hand side page would then be more for home plans, for chores and daily meals and shopping lists or whatever you needed for that. And then the next section that is included in the planner is the record keeping and notes section, and I believe that comes standard as well. So really the customizing, most of the customizing happens in that weekly scheduling section, as well as just what you want your planner to look like on the cover. This next section, the record keeping and notes, is pretty standard. So if you ordered the standard $19.99 package, I believe these still do come included in it. And some of the pages that are included in that are important dates. They have boxes for each month of the year for you to write down birthdays or anniversaries if you need to send a gift or a card to someone. The next section of pages would include resources. Contact lists, passwords that you need, favorite websites that you want to keep track of, or other resources that you just want to have all in one spot in your planner. The next spread of pages is healthcare, for you to write down doctor's appointments, follow-up notes for each appointment, maybe any bills or expenses that you incurred at that doctor's appointment. And the next section is homeschool expenses, for writing down your spending, to just keep track of that. After homeschool expenses comes a space for a lending library, where you can keep track of items that you have out on loan to friends, and also items that have been loaned to you, so you have that, and you don't have to waste mental energy trying to keep track of it. Then there are a handful, I would say about a dozen notes pages. Some of them are just lines and nothing else. And then a few of them actually have a space for drawing a picture or maybe writing a chart. And so there's about a dozen blank notes pages for you to just include whatever other homeschooling or homekeeping thoughts you need to. The very last section before the back cover is a pocket folder. Now on the website, this is an additional customizable feature, so it does cost an additional price to have the pocket included, and I think you can have up to 2 pockets added. So I just plan to keep homeschooling receipts, business cards, anything that I want to keep that is associated with our homeschool day. I'll keep that in my pocket, and again, you can have up to 2. And then the back cover is a really nice vinyl cover that is washable, which is great for me because I have a habit of spilling my entire cup of coffee all over my planner. I've done that many times, so I like the fact that the front and back cover are washable or wipeable, and hopefully I'll be able to keep my planner looking nice through the year. So that is just a basic walkthrough of my personal plan in place. Remember, this is customizable, so yours will not look exactly like this. It depends on the needs of your homeschool. I will be including this video in a short post on my blog, The Unlikely Homeschool, where I'll also include some links and some helpful tips, along with some other thoughts of my own personal thoughts of this plan in place. I hope you'll head to my blog for that. And also, if you happen to be a homeschool mom who is seeking to plan your year and really get a nice, solid, skeletal plan for the entire homeschool year, I have an entire series on my blog called Scheduling 101, where I walk you through the steps of planning an entire homeschool year, easy peasy, so that you can put it together and have to launch your school year with success. So I hope you'll check those out along with the links that I'll provide. Don't forget to subscribe just below this video for more helpful videos on homeschooling. Happy homeschooling.